Hi guys, it's Sherry. Today we will be working on a pair of wood earrings, and you can see I already painted one side orange and the other side green with glitter. My table's a little messy right now because I have everything out, so I want to kind of show you what we're going to be working with. I have some different types of flowers here that we'll be kind of playing around with, some white acrylic paint. And here is the orange and green paint that I used. I love the metallic because it keeps like a really nice shine on it. And then over the green paint, I used this glitter. It's kind of like a clear paint with a bunch of glitter in it. So it gives you this beautiful shine to it. Let's see here. I also have my dotting tool. So there's a few things that we're going to be working with today. The first thing that we are going to do is the orange side, because this side we have to let dry first, and this side is going to go really fast. So once you get your blanks completely painted, I got this paper cutout, and this is a leaf, and this side is going to be really, really easy. So I just want to put a simple leaf on this side. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, just a simple little leaf. So I just want to cut one of these leaves out, and I'm trying to be real careful just to make sure that I don't cut the wrong areas. So that'll be one. And then let's go with this side as well. And we'll cut that one off. When you are working with paper, always Mod Podge them. If you do not, the resin that you put on top is going to soak into your paper and discolor it and make it look really ugly. So you always want to make sure you're Mod Podging it, because it puts like a nice seal on it. And I learned by mistake, you know, or by trial and error, I should say. I attempted it a few times and figured out real quick that if you don't seal them, you basically just ruin your whole piece. So learn from me and my mistake and just seal your pieces. So this one, I'm just going to have kind of lay, oops, this one I kind of lay it down like that, and then I'll just trim up whatever is kind of pulling over. So I'm going to put a nice thick layer on this just to make sure it's sealed real well. And I want to make sure nothing, the reason I'm putting it on the underneath as well is not only will it help stick it, but then it also seals the underneath of it. So I'm even going to kind of seal right here. So this way when I cut it, that is completely sealed 100%. And you want to make sure it's 100% dry. So I'll let this dry, and then we'll work on the other side, and then we'll finish it off last. This way we know that it had a long time to really seal itself. And make sure no bubbles are there as well. Okay. So one side's going to face this way, so I'm going to have the other leaf face that way. And anytime you're working with your wood blanks, really try to make sure that all your stuff is dry. Otherwise the resin just isn't going to work nicely on it. So I just want to kind of, there we go. So lift it up and make sure that's really sealed on that edge. All right, so I'm going to let this 100% dry. It'll take probably about, I say 15-20 minutes to dry completely, and then we'll work on the other side and then come back and seal this with our resin. My pieces are finally completely dried. The next step is just to kind of clean them up just a little bit. Obviously there's not much to really take off. but I just want to get the couple things that are on here off. This is still a little wet here, you can see that. But the outside here is completely dry. And this is one of the reasons why I said we're going to start on this side, because you want to make sure it's 100% dry before we put anything else on there. But look how beautiful those look. I mean, so simple and easy. All right, this side. So I picked out 2 orange flowers, which I think will look beautiful on here. I'm going to do that side because I want that little inside to kind of pop out. Oops. And you can see there's like, can you see right there? So what I'm going to do is actually take some of these little petals off because I really want that inside to show. That right there. So I'm just going to kind of pull these off. And stick that right back in there. And then one side will go facing this direction. And the other one I'm going to face over here. So let's do the same thing. Let's see which way. And that one will go that way. And then I may add a little bit of greenery. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do it. I kind of like to play around a little bit while doing the resin here. So I'm going to pull out my little resin mat here. I'm going to get my glove. Put that all off to the side. Now I'll take my UV resin and put that right on the blank. And I'm just going to spread this out first. So the very first thing you want to make sure is that your pieces are always in the correct position. So I always make sure that my holes are at the top. And then I like to just spread everything right around the hole. Okay. And I actually think what I am going to do is just add this piece first. So I just want the tips of this on there. Oops. And add that there. I take my little stick and just push it down. And then let's get our flower. And I am going to move this in the exact position that I want it to be in. And I want this one on a little angle. Push that down. And actually, you know what? Let's put this right over on top here. We'll save this one for the other side. I always like just playing around to see what I really like. All right, so that is what I like. So I'm actually going to take this, I'm going to put this under my light, and I'm going to just put it under there until I finish working on that one. And then I'll bring it out, and then we'll do the last coat of that. Okay. So with this one, I ended up putting it facing this way for the other one. So this one we're going to face this way. Alrighty, let me get this all off to the side. So the next step I want to do is I'm going to get my acrylic paint. Get my dotting tool. And then I am just going to put little dots in different areas. And just look at it. See if there's anything else that you want to add maybe. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So I'm going to let this completely dry. I'll do the same thing to the next one. Okay, so I did my little paint spots on everything, and they're dry. So now we're going to put our final coat of resin on. Let me just kind of clean this up a little bit. And okay. I always like to put my resin right on the flowers initially, like to make sure that they get completely covered. Oops. And when you're doing this, be very careful that you're not pushing the resin so hard or too fast that you destroy the actual petals, because they are dried flowers and they are very delicate. So just be careful when you're going around them. As I am spreading my resin, I'm really looking close to make sure that I'm not missing anything, because right here is like a little gap. You want to make sure you're not going to miss that. So just take your time going over your piece, making sure you're not missing anything. And if you do, you know, you could go back and just refill it, but I like to do it all at one time to make sure that it's just a once and done process. Okay. I'm going to get my lighter. Make sure anything's popped that has to be popped. And now I'm going to place these under my UV light for about 5 minutes. All right, look how nice these look. Aren't they beautiful? Okay, so now we got to do the other side. A little resin there. So now these will be completely sealed, so we don't have to worry too much about it. And I also want to use up some of these little pieces that I took off, and I'm just going to kind of spread them over. So we'll start with one, and we'll do a thin coat. I'm going to get my paintbrush. Let me get my other glove. And I will just spread this right over. And you could leave it plain like that, or you could start adding a little bit of the petals, and that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm not gonna add too many, just a little bit. Not sure if I like that one on there. Oops. This one we're going to take off. I don't really like that one on there. Let's kind of break it up a bit. I think it's too big. So I want to break these up. There we go. Get little tiny specks of them. I actually think it'll look nicer if we break it up. Oh, that looks much nicer. I like that. Okay, so now this is nice and coated. I go over it one more time, just make sure that my edges are all covered. And then I will place that under my UV light. So after these come out, I'm going to put these under for probably about, I'm going to say 3-4 minutes. This is not a thick coat, so it'll cure really fast. And once they're completely done, then we can finish them off and we'll be able to wear our earrings. Okay, here they are. Look how pretty those came out. How beautiful are those? I'm not sure which side I like better. I love them both. I think this is a perfect back to this front. So pretty. All right, so I can see that I closed this up, so I'm going to get my drill. And I'm just going to reopen that up. Make sure it's nice and clean. I have my gold chrome marker. And I'm going to edge my sides like I always do, just to give it a beautiful finish. My next step is going to be to get my jump ring. And these are oval jump rings. So I am going to carefully open these up. Attach them. I like to just take the bottom portion of my earring here and carefully turn it so I don't have to add an extra jump ring. But if you want to add an extra one, you will not have to turn it. And then carefully close it again. And then your earring is ready. And there we go. There are our pair of earrings, and I think they look absolutely gorgeous. I absolutely love these. I really hope that you enjoyed creating these with me. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Bye.